for you to
Obviously, that is why at this point, as Suno begins to evolve and we see changes, it's very hard to walk away from Suno. It's hard to say, Suno, I'm going to just dump you in the garbage and I'm going to a different solution. And my question is always, which solution? Am I going to Murica? Am I going to go to Dooney? It's like there's no other tool that does what Suno can do. I want to give a shout out to my friends who came through in the chat. Lost in Translation Podcast, Knit Mix, Metro Insanity. Thank you. And Tactical Mindscapes. Is there a trick to stopping the weird vocal trills that Suno keeps putting into the song intros? Yeah, the only way to 100% foolproof that is taking it into your DAW and maybe just chopping it up and muting those voices. That is the best one that I've seen. Lost in Translation said, Phil, I told you the record companies would bend the knee. Absolutely. And they are doing just that. BMG is the fourth largest in the world, and they are now signed in with Suno. And now we have WMG. So the only holdouts are UMG that has signed with Udio, and we have Sony that is just, I don't know, weird as hell. I have no idea. Sony is hard to detect. And honestly, I'm not a fan of Sony for various reasons. But we'll just wait and see what happens. The lawsuit coming up with UMG and Suno is close, so we just need to watch and see. But going back to what we were saying about the brilliance of Suno, it is a truly brilliant tool. And that's why a lot of companies are coming out of the woodworks. I call them prodigal relatives. We have a lot of prodigal relatives all wanting part of the inheritance. They want part of that will, that Suno money. They want part of the bag. But anyway, I digress. So thank you all very much for coming through. I do not see any questions about anything else. I want to say a welcome to Grimful. You do know that you can join this channel and you can get access to Phil's Playground, which has a boatload of tools for people who are really serious in making more than the average Suno prompt. Because Suno has a way it prompts, and that way that it urges you to prompt could result in a very similar lackluster sounding track for those who have, I should say, ears of gold to detect, nah, there's nothing unique in this. The reason why people get a lot of lackluster stuff out of Suno is because they are not prompting correctly. You got to prompt correctly. And if you do prompt correctly, you will get great results. You'll get great results. And the way to prompt, I've built a modular system where you can build your prompts stem by stem. In other words, instrument by instrument. So it's kind of like reverse engineering what you want. And you just go step by step by step. And you end up getting a foolproof, awesome prompt for the music. And also I've got prompts that could help you with the vocals. So go on down to join.philc.net. I'm going to put that in the chat, join.philc.net. And you'll be able to join the channel as a member, and you'll be able to use tools that many others are using. In addition to that, very recently, as Suno has announced the 9/3 date, I came out with a brand new system for maximizing what Suno can do in version 5.5, in version 4.5, version 5, version 4. Because here's the truth. Once the third hits, you are not going to be able to create anything in these models. They're going away. All the models are going away. Now, the songs you created with them will still remain, but those models in and of themselves are going away. And that's why I created the survival guide and 9/3 prompt tool. Lots of you have already joined. Shout out to you. I'm going to be featuring some of the music you create when you get into the Creative Connect section, where you can share a track that you truly are passionate about and the background of the track. We're going to use that to connect even more. So for those who want to pillage the system before Suno takes those models away, definitely go on down to the link that I will put in the chat, and you can get that tool and prompt with impunity. And I'm talking about prompt with creative impunity. Go into Suno, pillage the place before those tools quit on us, because on the 3rd of September, you will no longer have the beloved 5.5, which used to do too much. I have to be honest. 5.5 was doing too much. It was like a church drummer all over the place, putting fills and putting riffs and Beyonce runs where you didn't need them. But after a while, Suno 5.5 came down to normal, kind of. And it became a favorite for many people. But I think for me, my favorite was 4.5. I released some pretty awesome tracks with 4.5. It wouldn't do too much. Going back to people's complaint about the higher frequency shimmer, artifacty stuff, I agree. It was definitely more prominent, and it became less prominent in 5.5, but there was a piece of 4.5 that didn't translate over to 5.5, but it's all good. We'll see what Suno has to do with version 6, supposedly coming out. I don't know if they're going to call it version 6, but nonetheless, we'll see what Suno does in the subsequent releases. So once again, thank you for staying tuned to the channel. There's a lot of news going on right now, lots of things that I need to cover. And you're going to be seeing more and more videos. Once in a while, you might see 3 videos in a day, only because of Suno's Shenanigans. I already put out a video today about 2.0. Love what they did with 2.0. I'm going to be creating a lot in 2.0. You're going to be seeing a lot more of that. I also covered earlier today the terms of service, a more elongated view of the TOS. There's a misnomer that Suno songs are useless. You can't do anything with them. You can do a lot with them. You can use them commercially. Now, if you release a song on Suno, I am hoping that the lyrics and the melody and the harmony, you have proof, right? Maybe a demo if it means that much to you, or some proof that you actually did write the song. Because contrary to what the naysayers and the haters are saying about Suno, you can actually copyright your songs that you wrote, but not the Suno output. The Copyright Office will not accept a fully AI generated track as a copyrightable song, but if you send in your lyrics, if you wanted to, or you send in your demo that you did before Suno for that same song, of course you can copyright songs that you write. You wrote it. And if you didn't use Suno, you can just put that in as, hey, this is my music. And, like I did a copyright dump for 10 of my songs very recently, but I also want to make it clear that you don't copyright every single song. That's foolish. You go bankrupt. I was talking to my buddy, Phoenix Benjamin, on this channel, and we summarized that it would cost you hundreds and thousands of dollars on the regular to keep copyrighting every single thing you wrote or every single thing you ran through Suno. That's not a sensible use of resource. So before you waste money trying to copyright hundreds and hundreds of songs, be aware that if you wrote the lyrics, that piece alone makes the song yours. Right? There's an automatic copyright that goes with what you truly wrote, what you truly created. So to those getting hung up on, oh, you can't copyright Suno output, that's just dumb. Copyright what you put in. Copyright the input, not the output. But it's fear mongering, really, to stop you from using Suno. And unfortunately, a lot of people have folded because of the lies that a lot of these anti-Suno channels put out. What people don't realize is these anti-Suno channels are putting out volume because there's something in it for them. They're pandering to what people want. They're providing the echo chamber, and they're doing it for views and likes. They don't really even care about the music. It's just hype. And if you're following such channels and you're going to just be blindsided, you're going to be just railroaded, because the opportunities of doing things ethically with AI are abundant. And I'm not saying everyone should use AI, but just stop lying generally and giving people false impressions. And that's why when I present stuff on this channel, I'm just giving you the 411 truth, nothing else. And you know, at times I'll say, hey, this is my opinion, but I want to know your opinion. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. Suno is going in a direction that people are saying they didn't anticipate, but the moment WMG came on, I knew that Suno would have to pay their pound of flesh to Shylock. I knew that things would change, but I have to give Suno kudos for not going down the dark path of the Udionites. I think I just created a new tribe, the Udionites. The Udionites, they went down a dark path and they made the empire a walled garden. And that's why there's nobody talking about Udio. Udio is not even a thought. It's a forgotten memory, which is sad. So I got to give a big ups and a thumbs up to Suno for actually allowing a functional platform for us musicians. Are they download limits for the pro people? Yes. For the premier people, just so you know, I just covered this earlier today, there's really no limits. Based on Suno's own words, right? And if you read between the lines, you can actually take what Suno has done in Premiere for Studio 2.0, and you can bring in tracks as multi-tracks from regular Suno. So there's really no cap of 60 downloads per month if you know how to work Suno Studio 2.0. See? But anyway, lots of additional conversation needs to be had. But I want to say thank you for joining. And as always, thank you for watching. And let's jump into some additional education about the world of AI music. There's so much to talk about, my friends. So you're going to be seeing, like I said, 2-3 videos a day as things intensify as we get towards the 3rd of September.